And we are live with good afternoon, Bill Saint. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Really want to know podcast, man. Late night or early morning edition, whatever you want to call it. Just so you guys know, I am not lit. This is not a lit Saint episode. I'm not. You can tell by the way I'm dressed. I haven't been anywhere. I ain't going anywhere. Next week I will be out. So who knows? Who knows? Next Friday or Saturday might be a lit Saint episode. But tonight it isn't. Tonight I just wanted to jump on. I saw something early today. I was gonna do this around noon today, and I just didn't. I just didn't. But I'm up. I'm nocturnal. For whatever reason, I just can't go to sleep. So it's all. I've always been this way. It's nothing new. I've been this way since as long as I can remember. I'm just a night owl. I'm just a creature of the night. That's why the army loved me so much. That's why I was tactical, bro. The army does its business around this time. It's just when we go do stuff. This is when the day starts for the United States Army tactical personnel. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But what I want to talk about, man, is police and the poor training that they receive. I don't know if you guys have seen this. About a month ago in Jacksonville, Florida, Jacksonville police shot a man with his own weapon. Let's get into this. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed. I hope the audio is good. I don't expect to have our normal cast of characters jumping on. I mean, it's late. I didn't advertise. This is what I love about this content, man. Well, not just the content, but this is what I love about this technology. You can just sit down whenever you want and do whatever you want. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So, for those of you out there ninja watching, I appreciate y'all, man. Do me a favor. Don't be afraid to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to share this with whoever you think might enjoy it or could learn from it. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And to all my day ones, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate those who just come on, hit the like real quick, and then bounce and keep it moving. I appreciate that as well. And for everyone who's watching this on Team Replay, thank you. Appreciate you. But yeah, this is, over here, man, we talk about a little bit of everything, but mostly we talk about the dating world, the sexual marketplace. We talk about what's going on between men and women. That's pretty much what we normally cover. We talk about what's going on in the Mantle Swamp, the red pill world. And then every now and then I talk politics. Every now and then I talk about law enforcement in America. And my biggest gripe, my number one complaint with law enforcement is their poor training. Poor, poor, poor training. And it's not the fault of the individual officer. They're not in charge of creating a training program that's suitable for Americans. They're just trying to get a job. Really, they're just trying to do what they want to do. It's their job to get through training successfully. But when they do get through training successfully, they believe that they're prepared for what's out here in these streets, and they're not. They're not. So what we're going to watch is a video about a traffic stop. And you can call it a routine traffic stop. I think it's pretty much routine nowadays anyway. And how it went from just a routine traffic stop to someone being shot. And for my friends who are not American, for our Canadian brothers and sisters, and those of you over in UK and Europe and all that, and those of you often in Australia and Japan and all that, I know you guys are like, wow, y'all got so many guns over there, bro. Like, I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often. Well, this happens all the time. People accidentally shoot themselves all the time. But what's the best way to handle that? Well, the best way to handle that is to train and be proficient with firearms. And the number one thing is safety. That's the number one thing. And if you're law enforcement, you would assume that you know how to handle firearms and and you will keep safety first. I know the military drills it into your head, Army did, because we're dealing with firearms, we're dealing with explosives in the form of hand grenades and in the form of, anti-personnel mines. Um, you're dealing with rocket fired stuff, man pads. Like you're dealing with all that kind of stuff, bro. So safety is always paramount. You know, these weapons, these bullets, bro, these are just dumb weapons, man. They once you send that round, bro, you cannot bring it back. At least not yet. I'm pretty sure there's tech out there that's going to change that, but at least not yet. You can't bring it back. So, why is it then that law enforcement in America is so poorly trained, bro? And I think the answer to that is money. It's money. There's it's not enough money to properly train. I think law enforcement to one cohesive standard across the board. Um, and America has a lot of crime, and America wants to put law enforcement officials on the street. Um, and it's not a lot of people who want to do the job. It's like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. They'll take just about anybody. You would think in something like law enforcement, like to be a cop, you would think they would have a high failure rate, a high washout rate. Nope. Most of the people who go make it. I think most of the people who get washed out is before they get into training, they wash those people out or filter those people out during the application process. But once they get in, they pretty much make it. I don't have the stats in front of me. We could look them up at some other point, but I would venture to guess that it's a very high success rate at police academies across the country. There's no one standard. So every state, every municipality, every city, every village, every whatever, they get to make up their own standard. And it's plain to me that, our law enforcement officials here in this country just aren't trained properly, bro. They don't have enough time on the range when it comes just to firearms. They're not familiar with their weapons. I'm willing to bet that the average police officer probably can't field strip their weapon. It'll probably take them forever to do it. I don't know how often they're even required to clean their weapons. I don't know if they know how to do it. I know for a fact when it comes to the rifles, shoulder fired stuff, like with their ARs, there was a guy that I knew that was LAPD, like a good cop. He had stripes and stuff and was doing all this stuff within the department. He brought home his AR once. We all lived in the same complex, and he came to me to ask me how to break the weapon down because I was asking him questions like, well, he asked me something about the weapon, and I just was, just hey, just do a functions check, and then he's like, what? Well, am I remembering this correctly? Oh, he asked me something, and I said, well, when you did the functions check, did it go perfectly, or did you hear the? I think I said, did you hear the pop? Did you hear the click when you did the functions check? Something like that. And he had no idea what I was talking about. He's like, "What's a functions check?" I'm like, "Bro, they don't." I'm like, "Okay, go get the weapon and bring it here." Like, go get the weapon. And I had to teach him how to break down his AR, how to field strip it, and then when I had to teach him how to show it, all the way down to the bolt, to the firing pin, and I didn't go deeper than that. It's way deeper. I just this is basic field strip, and then how to put it back together, and then how to perform a proper function check and what all the noises and stuff mean while you're doing it. Um, yeah, I couldn't believe that they sent him home with a weapon, and he didn't know how to do that. Like that's just basic army basic training stuff. Like you learn that in basic training before you learn anything else. That's the first thing you learn. I was shocked. LAPD, that's a big police department, right? And here he is out here with this weapon, and he has no idea if the weapon works. Like, that's the scariest thing of all. First thing you want to do, you want to, do a function check on a weapon. They give it to you, right? Break it down, pull out the bolt, make sure it's a firing pin in there, make sure everything is good. Right? Put it all back together, do a function check, then you go outside. I mean, you want to make sure the weapon works. If you're taking it out here, you get into a situation where someone pulls out their shoulder fired weapon, You want to know for certain that your shoulder fire weapon works. Poor training. So, and this isn't going to be a marathon uh, stream. It's not going to be a long stream. I want you guys to see this. So, what we're going to watch first is this is the press conference in Jacksonville. I believe that the shooting occurred over a month ago. I think it's like 4 weeks or so ago. The YouTube world is just now starting to hit it up. I know the Hodge twins did something on this. Cohen Noir did something on this. There's some people doing some talking about it, and most of those videos are like less than a week old. So I'm not too late. I'm not too late, but this is definitely something that I can talk about. Um, this video, guys, breaks down what happened from the point of view of the victim in this case. And this guy, he's a tax-paying citizen. He's not a criminal. He's a hardworking dude. And he's going to tell his story, what happened, and then we're going to show a video of the body cam from what happened, and then there's a news report that kind of touches on what happened in the interim that we can touch on, and then that'll be end of it. That'll be end of it. And you guys are you'll be able to see me again on Monday. Monday, we're going to do a show. Still not sure what we're going to talk about on Monday, but it'll be back to what we normally do. um, in fact, Monday, I think I do know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to handle rejection out there for you guys out here getting better, going out into these trenches, trying to holler at women. Handling rejection is very important. How you handle rejection. So we're going to be talking about that on Monday. And by rejection, I mean you approach a woman or somehow you talk to a woman and she's not interested in you and she gives you the blow off. You know what I mean? She's like, leave me alone. How to handle that. And why it's important that you handle it correctly, like a G. So let's check out this press conference. This is the guy, the victim, and his lawyer talking about this incident. And again, this happened in Jacksonville, Florida. This was about a month ago. So let's check this out.
Sure. We're here today to discuss the officer involved shooting regarding Mr. Arrington. This occurred on December 13th here in Jacksonville. And Mr. Arrington is going to describe exactly what happened. He has not spoken to media before today. And I think that it is important for the citizens of this community to understand specifically what it is that happened on the side of that road, because Mr. Arrington is just like any of us, was driving his car, lawfully carrying his firearm, and voluntarily disclosed that to officers prior to him being shot by his own gun as a result of the officer's negligence.
Now in Florida, when I got here in 2020, when I got here in 2020, um, in order to carry a concealed weapon legally, you had to have a concealed carry permit. I have one. I have a concealed carry license. When I came here, I got a driver's license and I got a concealed carry license. First two things I did. In fact, my concealed carry license got to my home before my driver's license did. So just to give you an idea. Since then, Florida has changed the laws governing concealed weapons. Anyone in Florida can carry a concealed weapon so long as they're not a felon. So long as they're not a felon. So if you're not a convicted, I think it's convicted felon or felon. So long as you're not that, then anyone can carry a weapon. And to my knowledge, you don't even have to be a citizen of the state. I think you can be visiting from somewhere else. If you're in the state of Florida, you can have a concealed weapon on your person. I don't know how that. Uh, I don't know if that extends to foreign nationals who are here visiting. I don't know. I have to look that up. But just the way I see it is like everybody can have a gun. The thing with having a concealed weapons permit is you have to take a test, albeit it's not a really tough test. It's not a very difficult test. It's just a written test. You take the written test, you pay the money, you take the test, you pass the test. It's a computer generated thing. You do it right there. Pass the test, turn around, go up to the desk, give them your test results. They do an eye check. I think, did they even give me an eye check, an eye exam? I can't remember because again, I got my driver's license first and then I went. It's the same office, just a different door, like an office within an office. So I don't know if they gave me an eye exam. Ask you some questions. Have you been arrested? Have you ever done this, that, and the other? Are you on any substances and blah, 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 blah. You fill all that out and then they send you your concealed carry permit. Now you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to do that. Um, I think it's pretty loose, the process, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't run the state. I just live here. So, if you're walking around Florida and law enforcement knows this, like police officers, I'm pretty sure they don't like the fact that just any old body, lottie dottie, everybody can have a gun shoved down their pants walking around or whatever. But that's the law. So she pointed out that her client, the victim here, voluntarily disclosed that he was armed. You don't have to tell the police that you're armed. That's another thing. I'm pretty sure that's what the law states. You don't have to tell the police that you're armed. So, you know, kind of crazy down here. And you definitely want to, if you decided to disclose to law enforcement that you're armed, you want to make sure that the situation warrants that. Me, if I'm dealing with aggressive police officers, if they can find out I'm armed when they find out, like when they pat me down, if in fact if I have done something that warrants them searching me and all that kind of stuff, and they find a weapon, that's on them. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would tell them. I don't know. We're gonna talk about that as this goes on. But he voluntarily disclosed that he had a weapon on his person, and that's very important. Again, he wasn't breaking any laws. It's perfectly legal here in the state of Florida.
But Mr. Arrington will explain further.
Well, February 13th.
Come closer.
Directly behind the microphone.
Yep. There you go. You don't have to lean down.
Gotcha.
You don't have to lean down.
February 13th, it was around about 4:50 in the evening. I had just gotten off of work. I was heading, I believe, towards downtown 27th and Main, where I kind of went through a traffic light that was actually yellow, but it turned red pretty quick. Officer pulled me over. He asked me, do you know why he stopped me? I told him that light back there. I said, but you saw what happened. But he said, I didn't attempt to try to stop. But I told him if I tried to stop, I would have either slid through traffic light or he would have rear-ended me because he was behind me. He proceeded to ask, do I have any, do I have my driver license insurance on me? I said, yeah. He asked, do I have any guns or weapons? I told him I have a firearm. He asked me, where is it? I said, it's on me personally. He said, okay. He said, well, what I'm going to do is have you step out, have my partners, remove the gun and we'll proceed forward. I said, okay, no problem. Stepped out. One officer, a guy told me to put my hands on top of the truck, which I did. He started frisking me. And as he went down, I guess he had the lady to remove, the other fellow officer to remove the gun from me. She tugged on the gun the first time, then she tugged again. And that's when I told her, hey, just let me unloosen my belt because it's tight. And I guess, I don't know, she might've got nervous or whatever, but she pulled harder 2 more times. And that's when the gun, it discharged and it shot me in my upper thigh, hip, and came out my inner on my right side. So
So there you have it. He was driving, went through a yellow light, may have been red, who knows? But that was the reason for the stop. All this stuff I didn't know. I didn't have this information. So he's driving down the street, police are behind him, coming up on a light, lights turning yellow. He decided to go through it. His reasonings make sense to me. It's like, well, if I'd have slammed on my brakes, I would have slid into the intersection anyway. Plus, the police were behind me. If I slammed on my brakes, police probably would have ran into me. I'm just going to go through this light. Now, probably the law enforcement is probably thinking, like, I know this guy ain't going to run this light with us behind him. That's probably what dude is thinking. Like, man, I'm behind you. I know you ain't going to run this light. Ran a light. All right, let's pull him over. And we're going to listen to body cam footage here in a minute. But pulls him over and he's like, yeah, this is what's going on. The standard questions. Hey, any weapons in the car? Like, well, I do have a weapon. I have a firearm. The firearm's on me. Okay. Now, when we watch the video of the body cam, you guys, we'll kind of dive into the weeds at that point. We're going to watch that in a minute. But we're going to let him talk a little bit more, and then we're going to move on to the body cam footage.
Pretty much, it damaged me pretty good. It's kind of, it messed with me, as far as me working and stuff, certain things in my job I can't do no more, perform, like getting up on equipment and stuff, different things. I had to get on top of trains and unload stuff, forklift, crane, whatever, I have to do at my job. It's kind of hard for me to do it. I can do it, but it's challenging, like real bad.
Was that officer who was the one who actually pulled the gun, was she in the car with the original officer? Or did she come as a backup?
I think she came as backup because the guy that initially stopped me, he was by himself. And then when I looked out my driver's side, it was 2 more officers there, which I didn't see come up. It was kind of, everything went fast.
Just to clarify, an officer first asked you if you had a firearm. And
Correct.
That's when you disclosed.
Correct. Yeah, he asked me and I told him, yes, I do. And he asked me, where was it? I said it was on me.
So are you guys pursuing legal action against the sheriff's office at this point?
Hell yeah.
Can we expect a lawsuit or anything?
Yes, we are pursuing legal action. Mr. Arrington's civil rights were violated on December 13th, and we will pursue a civil rights lawsuit as a result of that. He suffered physical harm. We believe that he may have lost wages going forward and a lost capacity to work and earn. He is a crane operator and has a physical job. He describes some of the duties that he has at work. And there are specific elements of damages, including economic damages, medical bills, that sort of thing, in addition to emotional distress damages. And Mr. Arrington has started seeing a mental health professional as a result of that.
I wanted to ask, since this incident has happened, JSO has updated its policy surrounding concealed carry laws and what they do in instances like this. Do you think, I don't know if you guys have looked at the updated policy, but do you think with that, with this new policy, it could be, something like this could be prevented, or you think there needs to be more done?
Well, we certainly hope that, and are grateful, right, that JSO finds it important enough to update policies and continue to evolve and be a more progressive agency. However, this particular officer who caused injury to Mr. Arrington, we don't believe was properly trained, certainly did not follow protocol. Mr. Arrington, we believe the body cam video will bear this out. Unfortunately, neither Mr. Arrington nor I have been able to obtain the body cam despite our requests. I believe the media has also requested it, and we're all getting the same 6 to 8 month reply, which is unacceptable. Mr. Arrington had violated a traffic law, certainly was not a
Allegedly.
wanted criminal. And there is no reason for the body cam not to be released both to the victim of this situation and his counsel and to the general public. So we are asking JSO, the city of Jacksonville, to release the body cam footage because we believe that it would in fact support what Mr. Arrington has described to you today. It would show the citizenry that the officer's actions were in fact unreasonable, and it's appropriate here. We want our law enforcement agencies to be transparent, and that has to be something that occurs here as well.
Just with the lawsuit, one more question.
Sure.
Have you filed it already, or do you know when that will actually be filed, just for storytelling purposes?
Sure, no, we haven't. I mean, to answer your question, no, we haven't filed a lawsuit yet, but you guys will be made aware.
They should let me answer that. Like, man, we ain't filed it yet, man, because we ain't show how many billions of dollars we trying to get here. When we see this video, man, I'm here to tell you, bro, when you see this video, man, y'all gonna have to pay this man. I mean, this is cut and dry. I mean, it's cut and dry. It's gross negligence on part of that police officer. And like the attorney said, like this officer wasn't properly trained. So that is the responsibility of the governing body, which would be Jacksonville Police, and I guess the city of Jacksonville, right? So like you just can't get into a situation where you searching someone, you know that person is armed, you're gonna disarm this person and you shoot them. It just doesn't, bro. So, and we'll definitely get into it. Like when you guys see the video that we're about to show you, the police officer who initiated the stop and was talking to the victim seemed real cool. He seemed like he knew what he was doing. You know, he was following protocol or other procedures, because what he was asking, you can tell, like, okay, he's been trained to do this. When the victim told the officer, like, I am armed, the police officer kept thanking him, like, oh, thank you. Because I don't think that they're required to disclose that information. Police officer said, hey man, thank you, bro. You know, hey, what we're gonna do. And the police officer was very clear. You guys are going to see this in a moment as to what was going to happen next. This is what we're going to do, and this is why we're going to do it. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. We're going to have you do this, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to run your tags, bro. And then if everything comes back cool, man, we good. I mean, I'm even willing to believe that if his tags came back cool, no problems, nothing, no outstanding warrants, nothing, I think they would have let him go. I think they would have let him go, maybe with a written warning, or probably just, hey man, next time, just, you know, try not to run the light, something like that. Down here in Central Florida, bro, I've had only 2 run-ins with law enforcement since I've been here. Yeah, 2. They were both pleasant. They were both cool. And both times they let me go. All they wanted to do was run my tags. Both times they let me go. And the one time, the first time they stopped me, bro, they could have wrote me a ticket. They had me dead to rights. But he didn't. He was really cool. You know, real squared away sheriff. This was a Hillsborough County sheriff, man. Shout out to y'all. Real squared away dude. I could tell by his uniform. Guy was probably former military. I have military license plates, so that might have something to do with it. I have veterans tags because I served in Desert Storm, and I also have airborne stuff on the back of my car. So maybe maybe they cut me some slack because this is a vet right here. This guy's a paratrooper. This guy's gone to war. Maybe they cut me some slack. I don't know, but let's continue.
Mr. Arrington, I just wanted to ask, what went through your head the moment that it discharged? I mean, obviously you felt it, but what was can you talk me through that moment?
I mean, when my hand's on top of the truck, so when the gun went off, I kept my hand on top of the truck because I didn't want no one else thinking that it was me. And for the moment when it hit, it was like it was a movement of my body, but I actually didn't thought it was me that the bullet hit. I thought it was the officer behind me because he was down checking me. And then when I realized I looked down, he stood up and said, "Hey man, you've been shot." And I'm just like,
so real quick, a lot of times when people get shot, they don't realize they've been shot. I've seen it in the field. I've seen it in real life. I've seen it in the streets. I've seen people get shot and just like run 3 or 4 blocks, not even know they're hit. Sometimes they know they're hit. Just that adrenaline is pumping and whatnot. So, and here's the thing about, being black in America, bro. You already know that the worst can happen and it probably will happen. You have to be thinking all the time. Y'all hear how calm this dude is? This guy doesn't sound like he has any street in him whatsoever. This is just a hardworking guy. He's a citizen, right? This dude probably pays his taxes on time and all that, good with his credit, all that good stuff, man. He's just a regular dude. He ain't tripping, no gold teeth, no tattoos, just a citizen. The man got his hands up on top of his vehicle. He hears the shot that was fired, and he's pretty sure it was his weapon. And he looks down, and the first thought in his mind was to not move his hands. It's like, man, I don't want to move my hands right now because if I take my hands off this truck and I bend down to help this police officer who I think just got shot, they might open fire on me, right? So he let me keep my hand up here. And then he realizes, and all this is happening like in a matter of moments, the police officer stands up. Is like, bro, you shot. And the guy's like, oh, but the fact that he had the wherewithal to not move his hands, this is the kind of stuff, man. And I'm not saying this to, rile up the white, black racism, this and that. All that, it happens in America. And it's just, I wanted to point that out because we live in very distinctly different bubbles. And there are things that we have to deal with that other communities don't necessarily have to deal with, right? Especially as black men. This dude got shot by the police and he didn't want to move his hands off his vehicle for fear that he would be shot some more. But again, moment he didn't realize he was hit. But he didn't want to move his hands because he doesn't want these other cops to get trigger happy and scared and light him up. This is just a reality.
I'm looking down like, oh, I have been shot. And it was just like, that's when he hit me like, man, I've been shot. So that's when he put my hand around his neck and kind of put me to the ground, and went. And that's when he ran back to get the tourniquet to wrap my leg up because I was losing a lot of blood quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that panic sensation set in.
Yeah. I mean, I was okay, I thought, but my body was hemorrhaging bad. So that's when they kind of like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? They thought they hit a main artery, but I did too because it was getting pretty gray outside. So yeah.
And that's just, he's dealing with the shock of it all. You're looking down, you're seeing yourself bleed. We got a lot of blood in our bodies, guys. This is a big dude. This is a big dude. The round went through and through. Like you said, it entered on one side of his leg, it exited on the other side of his leg. They were like, oh man, we think he hit an artery. No, law enforcement should have known he didn't hit an artery. It just, when you hit an artery, especially in a situation where someone's been shot, because It's very distinct. There's kind of like a gushing thing, and it goes with the heartbeat. It just kind of squirts out, bro. Um, yeah, it's very distinct. And whether it was, you hit an artery or not, the amount of blood that he was losing, bro, you could easily go into shock and you can lose someone like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be a major wound. Like shock will, you know, will lose people. Shock will delete you so fast, man. So fast. A lot of people who like lose limbs and stuff like that, these like horrific injuries, it's not the injury that got them, is they went into shock. You got to keep people calm. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you are wounded by a firearm or you're cut or something like that, or if you're in a car crash and your body's mangled, stay calm. That's the number one thing. Stay calm. Control your breathing. Right? Just control your breathing. Stay calm. Relax. First thing you want to do is get yourself to safety or get yourself a situation where whatever's going on ain't going on anymore, right? So, all right, we're on with the understanding that whatever the danger is, the danger is there's no longer a threat out there for you. Stay calm. Stay calm. And you want to look at your wound. Definitely want to get some pressure on that wound. What they did here makes a lot of sense. They saw a lot of bleeding. They went and got tourniquets, and they were able to put a tourniquet on there to kind of control that. And it's not a bad idea, guys, to actually go out and, if you can, go take some first aid courses, bro. We call it combat lifesavers courses in the military. But if you can find like former military guys, kind of like a former medic or corpsman or something like that, and they're giving lessons, it's not a bad idea to take those lessons. Have yourself a nice first aid kit in your vehicle. I have a nice one. You can buy those on Amazon. You can get yourself whatever you want, whatever level you think you need. We got myself a nice first aid kit in the car. I have a really nice first aid kit here in the house next to the go bag. And in that first aid kit, man, I have more elaborate stuff. I got bagged water in there, or packaged water in there, needles, thread, staples. Like, it's for more real stuff. Like, if I really get into it, if something were to go wrong, we can take care of what we got to take care of and get ourselves to a higher level of care. But we can take care of ourselves right here on the scene. So we have that as well. So go out there and get that training, guys. Don't be afraid to get it. A lot of that training is free. But this dude right here, like, shout out to this guy, man, for keeping us calm. And we're about to watch this. We're gonna watch this body cam footage. So we're gonna watch this whole thing. It's about 1 minute and 27 seconds. We're gonna watch it all the way through first, and then we'll go back and I'll make some comments on it. This dude, like I said, man, very calm, very cool, very collected. The police officer, I must say, the police officer who initiated the stop, he wasn't screaming. He seemed very professional. He was doing his job. You could tell he was going through protocol, going through procedure. This was a routine stop, seemed to be going pretty good right up until the time the gun went off. So let's check this out. I'm gonna let this play all the way through.
Yeah. What you got? You got a gun? You do? All right, where's that? It's on you? Okay. As long as you're cool. I'm chill. No, man, I appreciate your honesty. That's awesome. So you have concealed carry and all that good stuff? No, you don't. All right, you're not a convicted felon, right? Nothing. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is, just for my safety, your safety, I'm gonna have you step out. All right, fair enough. And we're just gonna remove the pistol from you, and then we're gonna run your license, make sure everything's good, and I'm gonna send you on your way. Yeah, just hang tight. Just do me a favor, lower that window. Hey, he's very compliant. He does have a pistol on him, so we're gonna take him out from that side, remove the pistol, and we'll go from there. All right? Yeah, you're good. I appreciate it, man, being very honest. Oh, shit. You okay? Thanks. Put the gun down. Gun down. You okay? You got shot in the leg. Rescue 1068. HQ 2162. Hey, rescue 1068. 1020. 1020. So yeah,
So y'all saw that, right? You guys saw that. Let me pull up my picture. You guys saw that. And there's another one here. Gun misfires doing traffic stop in Jacksonville, warning graphic video. Oh, we're gonna watch this one too. Said gun misfired. It didn't misfire. It fired. She put her finger on the trigger and it fired. Right. I got a weapon sitting right here, bro. Got a 38 special sitting right here. And it, bro, that trigger will never pull itself. It would never pull itself. So I'm gonna back that up. I'm gonna back that up to the original.
What you got?
So what I wanted to point out, man, was how cool the police officer was on the passenger side who was doing all the talking, right? We're watching from his body camera. The guy was cool. These are the police officers that if I'm always like, God forbid I got to deal with law enforcement, but if I do, these are the guys that I love dealing with. Like, okay, this guy's professional. He knows what he's doing. The big thing is he doesn't seem to be afraid of me. And you notice right away, and they can say, hey, you got any weapons, anything in the car? And he's like, I do have a firearm. It's on me. Police officer's like, hey, thank you, man. He's like, really? He's like, hey, cool, because let's keep it 100, man. The cops don't like this law in Florida where anyone can carry a gun. And he said, hey, you got your concealed carry and all that good stuff, right? He's like, no. Oh, okay. Well, you're not a concealed, you're not a felon, are you? He's like, no. He's like, okay, cool. That right there, bro. That's a cool cop. And then now the police officer needs to tell the other officers who responded, hey, man, this guy's cool. You hearing his voice. Hey, man, he's cool. He's compliant. He just let us know he's got a weapon on him, bro. He's legally carrying. Like, hey, guys, it's cool, guys. Don't trip. Don't trip. Don't trip. We got Brother Pitney in the building, man. What's good, fam? Negligent discharge. Trigger safeties, man. Stuck. Yeah, okay. Yeah, bro. Listen, you're right, man. They gonna do whatever they gotta do. They gonna say whatever they gotta say. It's just, God, man, these things are terrible. And this dude could have lost his life, man. Good to see you, bro. This is a regular episode. This is just a late night episode, bro. I'm not lit. Not this week. So we're not doing Lit Saint. Next Friday or Saturday, that might happen. I'm gonna be out. Gotta do some networking. Gotta go talk to some people. So this coming Friday, Saturday, it might be a Lit Saint episode, bro. Who knows? But law enforcement, whoever this police officer is that did the initial stop and doing all the talking, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I know he's just doing his job, but that dude should get some sort of commendation, just a write up for doing it right. It's like, hey, man, the fact that he took extra care to make sure that the other responding officers knew, like, this dude ain't tripping. Like, don't y'all trip. Everybody is cool. It's gonna get out. And you saw how compliant the driver was. Driver's like, hey, you want me to get out now? Like, yep. The police officer, he told him everything, bro. Let's listen to this one more time.
Or what you got? You got a gun? You do? All right, where's that? It's on you? Okay. As long as you're cool. I'm chill.
He's like, I'm chill. He's like, please, like, as long as you're cool. Like, hey, man, I'm chill. He's like, the driver said, I'm at y'all mercy. So again, as a black man in America dealing with law enforcement, you're carrying a legal firearm, which is the law of the land. Well, in this state, he understands, like, bro, I need the police officers to be cool. This police officer's like, are you cool? And this guy's like, are you cool? It's kind of like that Spider-Man thing when the Spider-Man are pointing at each other. Like, bro, are you cool? Because I'm cool. I'm chilly willy right now. Like, I'm at child mercy, bro. I don't want no drama. I'm just, and the police officer's like, cool. All right. He's like, all right. Because, yeah. And the guy was like, hey, man, thank you, man, for telling us, right? Thank you.
No, man. I appreciate your honesty.
I appreciate your honesty.
That's awesome. So you have concealed carry and all that good stuff? No, you don't. All right, you're not a convicted felon, right?
See, it's like you got to conceal carry. You don't need it. You don't need it anymore. And that's probably why this dude is carrying. It's like, well, it's legal now. So if the law was still the same as it was when I got here, this guy, if he wanted to carry his weapon, would have had to go down and take the test real quick and get his concealed carry, which is, again, it's really easy. And I'm gonna make sure I keep my concealed carry updated. because it's good in other states, right? You know, so I'm good in almost all of the southern states. I'm good in like the Midwest. You know, California doesn't work in California, doesn't work in New York, but pretty much everywhere else is good. So so this is a good interaction. Got a good cop, and then the cop's gonna turn to his he's gonna turn to his homeboys, like to the other cops, and be like, yo, yo, he's good. He's compliant. He's cool. He just let us know he's got a weapon, right? And they took the police officer told the driver, hey man, we're gonna have you get out the car. We're gonna remove the weapon, and then we're gonna check everything. We're gonna run your plates and everything, run your license, and if everything comes back cool, we're gonna let you go. So right away, he's like, we're gonna let you go. He's not even gonna cite him. He's not even gonna give him a ticket. He's not even gonna give him a ticket. He's like, bro, everything comes back cool, man. We're gonna let you go.
Nothing. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is, just for my safety, your safety, I'm gonna have you step out. All right. Fair enough. And we're just gonna remove the pistol from you, and then we're gonna run your license, make sure everything's good. And I'm gonna send you on your way.
See that? We're gonna run your license, make sure everything's good. I'm gonna send you on your way, bro. I ain't even trying to give you a ticket right now. We got educated Tyrone in the business. What's good, fam? Yeah, that's Spider-Man meme. You chill, you cool, I'm cool, you cool. They just you cool, I'm cool, you cool. I'm laughing about this because this man didn't lose his life. But definitely, bro, getting shot is not something to take lightly, bro. It's gonna mess with you, man. Getting shot at messes with you after a while. I mean, I guess at some point you get over it, but it never leaves you. You know, I'm bad in crowded rooms, man. I'm bad around big crowds outside. I don't even go outside if there's fireworks, bro. I just can't be around the pops and the whizzes anymore, man. I just can't. I won't do it. You know, I just can't. And I'm armed, and it is what I'm like, bro. It's just certain places I stay away from. But I just want to stress how cool this cop is, man. This cop is cool, bro. He is so cool, bro.
Yeah, just hang tight. Just do me a favor, lower that window. Hey, he's very compliant. He does have a pistol on him, so we're gonna take him out from that side, remove the pistol, and we'll go from there. All right.
Everybody knows what's going on. Hey, it's compliant. Hey, man, do me a favor, man. Could you just please? You see how professional this police officer is. It ain't none of this BS. It ain't none of this tough talk. You know what I mean? It ain't none of that. Yeah, bro, I can't. Yeah, I'm bad with. I can handle it when I'm prepared for it, man. But yeah, my PTSD really acts up when I'm in the crowd, man. I tend to. Yeah, I gotta get away from those crowds. If I'm somewhere like right now, they have this thing called Gasparilla. It's kind of like this pirate thing. You know what I mean? Pirate themed event they do every year down here in Tampa. It's massive. It's huge. It's huge. It's cold down here right now, but people are still out doing it. It's crazy. They have parades, all this kind of stuff. It's amazing. People are like, hey, you gonna come out for Gasparilla? No. I'm in the house. I'm not coming out. Like right now, it's 3 a.m. and these people are still out here partying in Tampa for Gasparilla. It's just one of those things. Just people come from everywhere. I'm not going outside doing Gasparilla. All these people right now on their way to the casino. That's what they're gonna end the night. They'll be there until the sun comes up, dressed as pirates and doing their thing. I can't be around that. I just can't. When I was younger, no problem. I was cool with it. You know, we were young and dumb. Now that I'm older, like, man, I don't want to do it. But this police officer, man, like I said, this police officer should get some sort of accommodation, man, even if it's just a day off or something like that, some sort of award for doing it right. He did it right. Right? But let's continue.
Yeah, you're good.
See how slow he's moving. He's very methodical. Got his hands up, hands on top of the car. He's just chilling. Look at this woman. She's trying to. Here's the police officer. She's trying to get the weapon.
Shit. You okay?
Shot him. Just like that. Now, remember the other video when the guy was being interviewed and he was like, yeah, I could feel the police officer tugging on the weapon. And, you know, I was going to tell her like, hey, just let me loosen my belt so it'll be easier for you to get that weapon off. And she just lit him up, man. She went in there, shot him. She grabbed the trigger, bro. It looks like it's a Glock. I don't know which one, but I want to say that that's a Glock, something in the Glock family. But I could be wrong. But look, now she's shocked. She's got the weapon. The weapon's pointed down. She still got her hand on the weapon. And the other police officer had to tell her to put the gun down. Like, put the weapon down.
Hey, put the gun down. Put it down. You okay? You got shot in the leg. Rescue 1068.
Right now they're calling for EMT.
Rescue 1068. 1020.
Look at this. The female cop just walking around. Look at this dude.
So you have concealed carry.
And the video continued. The video continued. There's some videos out there that continue to show what happened. And what happened was they walked into the rear of the vehicle. They placed him on the ground, and then the deputy or sheriff or the officer, whatever, who was helping him, pulls out a tourniquet. They put the tourniquet on his leg. They tighten it up. I'm pretty sure that was painful. If he wasn't feeling it before, he was feeling it then. They get the tourniquet on his leg, and they're rendering first aid. All this, man, this is poor training. Now, let's watch one more video, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about my thoughts on this, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. We got Dusto in the building, bro. What's good, fam? How you doing? Boy, you up late. You just now getting home from Gasparilla or something, bro. You up late, man. So we're going to go to one more video. We're going to find out, because I was wondering, like, what happened to this female officer? Like, what's the deal with that? Let's check this out and see. This is one of their local affiliates in Jacksonville. This is their news. Let's see what happened. Let's see what they're talking about.
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office releasing body camera footage of the moments surrounding the time when a man was shot by an officer. The agency telling us that the officer was fired due to what they call her, quote, incompetence. This is video from when this all happened on December 13th. You may remember us talking about it. The victim, Jason Arrington, notified police he was carrying a firearm and complied with the officers during a routine traffic stop. While trying to remove the gun from Arrington's holster, the officer shot him. Arrington plans to sue the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office following this shooting.
Yeah, if I was the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, I'd have been trying to get the dude first. Let's get the dude. We know that's coming. So anyway, looks like they fired the police officer, the female police officer who actually did this. I find it hard to believe that she would have lost her job over this one incident. I'm pretty sure that she had a bunch of things that she has done wrong while in uniform, while on duty. I just don't see the police union rolling over and allowing this officer to be fired. That's my initial thought. There's also the case where the unions talk to her, right? And the police chief is talking to everybody. They're like, look, we're going to fire her so we can go ahead and put that out to the public. And then we're going to let the union grieve it. She's going to get her job back, but no one's going to know because the story will be over. We'll wait for the payout to dude. They'll pay dude out. So that's like the big story. And then while that's going on, they can backdoor her back into the PD with more training and stuff like that. That could happen. But unions don't sit back and just roll over and let someone get fired. They will fight tooth and nail to keep them, no matter how negligent they are. But again, she could have a lot of negative stuff on her file. So I will be just I will be very shocked if in fact they fired her and this was her like first major incident. But hey, who knows? So let's talk about holsters. I have a few holsters that I use. I basically use like 3 basic holsters for my firearms. So this one right here, this is my ankle holster, right? This is what I use if I'm carrying like a 380, 38 special, something like that. If I got a smaller 9mm or something like that, this is what I usually use if I'm wearing if I'm gonna carry an ankle holster. This wraps around your calf, right? And then this also, like you can see that wraps around your ankle. Weapon goes in here, as you can see. You have this strap on. You guys see that you have this strap. And generally speaking, if there's a hammer involved, this strap will go over that hammer. This will keep the weapon in place. It's elastic. This strap kind of it has give, so it can you can adjust to different. If you got like a 380 or some form or fashion of a 9mm, 38 special or a proper 38, a smaller 357 could probably fit in this thing. And you can see how it kind of gives here. If I'm wearing something, let's say dressy, or I'm wearing something loose fitting or whatever, that's when I'll have this. I'll carry with this. I'll have my bag. Y'all know it's late and I'm trying to focus. What am I trying to do here? Okay, here we go. So if I'm wearing like a suit, or if I'm wearing a tuxedo, or if I'm wearing linen or something like that, I will have, and I'm wearing a weapon, I'm carrying on my ankle. That's the holster I'll carry for that. Works pretty good. You can't see it. You won't see it. Again, depends on the type of weapon and how big the weapon is, but it works pretty good. I don't wear that a lot. You know what I mean? I don't wear that a lot. So, so if I'm out, let's say I'm somewhere and law enforcement stops me in Florida and I'm carrying that holster and my weapon is on my leg, on my ankle, I probably would not tell the police officer that I'm armed. If he asked me if I was armed, depends on the comp, but my thing is I'm legally carrying. I even have a concealed carry permit. There's no need for me to even talk about this weapon. I'm not going to be reaching down to my ankle like the police are worried about what's around your waist and up in your shoulders. So I probably wouldn't say anything. It is what it is. But if someone wanted to disarm me, let's say I did let them know, like, hey, I'm armed. It's on my leg. I have an ankle holster or whatever. It's easy to remove the weapon from that holster. Just the way that holster is designed is really easy to remove that weapon. All you have to do is unbutton that strap and pull the weapon on out, and it's cool. Right? So like that's carrying that. Now, the holster that I carry most of the time is this. Right? This is the holster I carry most of the time. This fits inside your belt. So the only thing that will be showing when you're wearing this is that strap, right? Because this will be inside your pants. So this is what it looks like from the outside. So you will have the handle here. You have the strap going over your belt. My hands being the belt. The strap will go over there. And this is a magnet, guys. So this thing, it snaps down. This is a magnet. So normally when I want to disarm myself, I pull this thing out and I just pull straight up and it comes right out. Yeah, a lot of people carry this like in their abdomen, they belly carry. I don't do that. Here it is right there. My brother been, do I appendix carry? Never. I never appendix carry. But you can use that. I know Myron does. And then Myron, like we were last time I was, when I did that, when I did the podcast, I think it was the podcast, or maybe it was the time before I was in Miami. I was carrying a 45 ACP and Myron was carrying a 9mm, I think, maybe a 40mm, and he always belly carries. And I'm like, nah, bro, I keep it on my hip. I don't want to do that. Imagine if that dude was appendix carrying and she was trying to disarm him and that weapon would have gone off, bro. He could have lost the family jewels. Completely different story. So I never do that. But this weapon, this holster is the one I carry probably 90% of the time. I either have my 9mm, 40mm, 45 with this. I can even put my 357 in here. It works with that as well. Although I have a separate holster for that, very similar to this that I use with the 357. But it doesn't have the magnet secure clip here. It doesn't have that. The holster I use for the 357 does not have that. Now here, this particular holster is smaller. This is what I use to carry the 38 special. Again, I carry everything on my hip. I think that the guy in this incident had a holster similar to this. It had this clip. This clip is not like the magnetic clip that I was just showing you guys, which I recommend highly. One of those gets you that magnetic clip. It's just easier to arm and disarm yourself. This clip kind of seats around your belt. So you have your belt on there, and this thing has like a little lip, so it goes down and kind of grabs that lip. This weapon, if someone's trying to disarm me, trying to remove this holster, is very difficult. It's easier just to remove the weapon from the holster, leave the holster there. And again, this is what I carry my 38 special with, which is sitting right here. I carry that 38 special in there, and I mean, it's hammerless. So if I'm wearing that and police are trying to disarm me, yeah, just all you got to do is grab the weapon, pull it right out. It comes out just like that. But if you're trying to take it out with the holster, it's going to be a problem. I have trouble sometimes getting that thing on and seated the way I want it as I'm moving around. Sometimes I have trouble with it. So I can imagine someone who's not familiar with this holster, you're dealing with another person. I can see how that's the problem. This goes back to the training. I don't know how police officers are trained to disarm people. I don't know how they do it in training. I don't know what exercises they may be doing. But if I were that police officer and I'm going to disarm this person, right, I'm going to do one or two things. First of all, in this scenario, this dude seems pretty cool. It's three of us. It's one of him, right? He seems pretty cool. I'll be like, hey, man, do me a favor. Go ahead and disarm yourself and put the weapon on the passenger seat over here. Like, just go ahead and just grab your weapon, man, put it on a passenger seat, and then ask him to get out the vehicle if you want to do it that way. I know police officers are like, man, that's crazy. He's going to grab his weapon. He has the advantage. He can fire on you. But yeah, you got the numbers, right? So if he fires on, you can't fire on all y'all at the same time. So if he fires that weapon, y'all could just light him up. So you could, okay, you don't want the person to touch their weapon. Okay, fine. So we're going to have him put your hands on top of the vehicle, and I'm going to come and disarm you. If you have this type of holster where I can just pull this and then kind of yank it upwards and take the weapon and the holster out, perfect, no problem. But if you have this type of holster with this metal clip thing that's around your belt, this is going to be harder to take out. So I'm just going to grab the weapon itself. Pull the weapon out, right? I'm going to secure the weapon myself. And then you can ask them to take off the holster if you want. Hey, can you remove your holster for me, brother? He removes the holster and I can put the weapon back in the holster and do it that way. But the last thing I'm going to do is grab the weapon and start yanking on it and let my hand get anywhere near the trigger. Police officers are supposed to be professional. They're supposed to be professionally trained, and they're supposed to be able to handle this. This doesn't seem like a very difficult scenario at all. Luckily the guy in this case survived his injuries. He got, he was shot. That was, poor training and competence on part of the law enforcement official who should be a firearms expert. Right. The one thing you need to know about firearms, man, like we said at the top of the show, man, safety first is always about safety. You're trying to remove some weapon or whatever, you get into a situation, you just say, hey, I'm having trouble removing this holster. And then the guys will say, all right, well, go ahead and just remove the weapon. Or the driver, he could say, hey, well, let me loosen my belt. It should make it easier for you. Y'all can work it out at that point. This guy's clearly compliant. He's a citizen. He ain't trying to do nothing wrong here. Right. But she didn't want to ask for help. And she shot this man. Simple as that. So, and again, I just brought up a couple holsters. Like, these are the holsters that I wear the majority of the time. I would say I wear that ankle holster. I might wear that ankle holster 6 times in a year, maybe. But between the 38 special and then that other holster with the magnet clip, the one with the magnet clip I'm wearing most of the time. and then maybe, well, I lied to you. I wear that 38 special almost every day. There's one time a day where I'll have that 38 on me for just a couple hours, which is when I'm doing something. I'll have that 38 on me pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. Weekends, I hardly ever touch it. And then I'll normally have the holster with the magnet clip on there, which I'm carrying one of the Glocks most of the time anyway. Again, the 357 has its own holster. I might carry that 357 twice a year. That's just a big weapon. It's uncomfortable to carry, but it's a reliable weapon. And as you guys know, I use speed loaders. This is for the 38 special. I have speed loaders for the 357 as well. So I'm very proficient with my revolvers. I can get 5 or 6 rounds off. The 38 has 5 and the 357 has 6. I can get those 6 rounds off and reload just as fast as you can squeeze off, 12 or 15 rounds with your semi-automatic pistol. I'm pretty good at reloading that thing. And if you're in a firefight, bro, everyone's nervous, everyone's glitchy. So, don't get it twisted. You going against somebody and they got a revolver, yeah, they're probably more proficient than you are. I would definitely break contact with them if I were you. No one should be getting into firefights. But I've gone off on a tangent. My bad. This police officer screwed up. You had one police officer who was doing everything right. He did everything by the book. He was doing what he's supposed to do. He was very professional. Wasn't no tough guy, nothing. He wasn't screaming at nobody, nothing. You had a citizen who was extremely compliant, not breaking any laws, was stopped for a traffic violation, allegedly, an alleged traffic violation. He was honest with the police and didn't have to volunteer the information that he was armed. Here's another thing. Had he told the police nothing about being armed, they would have checked his license, they would have checked everything out and probably sent him on his way or gave him a ticket. Either way, he wouldn't have had to get out the vehicle. He would have been fine. He would have been fine. So that's another thing to look at. Had he not said anything about being armed, he probably wouldn't have gotten shot. Right? So if you find yourself in a situation where you're in Florida, right? You're down here in Florida, you're armed, or wherever state you're in, you're armed, and you're not required by law to disclose to the police that you're armed. You really give it some thought. Really give it some thought. Like, do you want to tell the cops that you have a gun? Right? You're not a criminal. You're not a bad guy. You're not trying to be a tough guy. You're not going to shoot it out with the police. Right? Just sit there. Had he not said anything, they would have either, ran his tags and let him go, or they would have cited him. Either way, he wouldn't have been forced to get out of the car. It wouldn't have been a problem. But this guy was just trying to do what's right. So, I'll close with this. The 2 times I've been pulled over here in Florida, both times I was armed. Like I said, I'm always armed. I didn't disclose that I was armed. I didn't have to. I wasn't asked about it. The officers, neither officer asked me if I had anything in the car. So a lot of it has to do with where you are, what type of neighborhood you're in, what time of day it is. It's a whole bunch of variables there. The 2 times I was pulled over in nice neighborhoods. And they let me go both times. They didn't ask to search my car. They didn't ask me if I had anything in the car. They didn't ask me if I was armed. None of that. None of that at all. So there's just something to think about. Now, would I have told the police officer I was armed in that scenario? I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have, guys. I don't think I would have. I would have sat there. I'd have been cool, just like, dude, it's cool. Okay, hey, I'm gonna give you my license, my registration. Here you go. In fact, I'd have had that out already. It stays in my glove box. I just would have pulled that out before they showed up. Here's my license. Here's my registration. Yeah, I'd have been sitting there. I'd have answered his questions like, yeah, I thought it was yellow. Yeah, I didn't want to slam on my brakes. You guys were right behind me. I don't want to cause an accident. I do apologize, but I just thought that was the best course of action. I thought it was yellow. I thought I entered the intersection when it was yellow. I thought it was, hopefully I was hoping I could clear the intersection, but I couldn't. Whatever, something to that effect. But I never would have said anything about having a weapon. I never would have said anything about that. But like I said, the guy survived, and he's definitely going to be looking at a payout. He's going to be looking at a payout. A lot of people like, oh, he's going to get millions of dollars. I don't know. I was talking to my guy Jay Swans about it. Like, if they ask for $1 million, I think the attorney takes about a third. I think that's how it works. The attorney takes about a third. He'll keep the rest. You don't have to pay taxes on it. So, I mean, if he's lucky, he probably walk away with somewhere in the neighborhood of, anywhere between $500,000 and $700,000 when this is all said and done. A lot of people might, oh man, that's cool. That's a good little chunk of change. Like, is it worth getting shot for $700,000? He's going to have health problems down the road. Whenever you get shot, bro, it's never just clean like that. Like, you're going to have some issues down the road. He could have died. So it is what it is. I wish him the best. I hope they get better police officers. They need more police officers in America, like the guy who initiated that stop. That guy was very professional. They need less police officers, obviously, like that woman police officer who shot this man with his own weapon. There's a story out of New Jersey a year ago. Suburban cops pulled over the wrong guy, was threatening to shoot him in the face. They were yelling at him and cursing at him and all this other kind of stuff. And it turns out that they had the wrong vehicle. We might talk about that maybe next month or something like that. We might pull that up and talk about it because that case is ongoing and the police department is fighting it. Even though we got all this body camera footage where the cops are like, oh, our bad, oopsie. Bro, people putting guns in your face talking about they want to shoot you. You can see it you can see them. You can see it in their eyes. Like, they really want to shoot you. And you ain't did nothing. You the wrong guy. That's going to mess up your psyche more than this. So, maybe we'll talk about that maybe next month. Maybe we'll talk about that next month, man. So, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do anything marathon crazy sessions, man. It's 3:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. So appreciate you guys staying up late, checking me out, man. We got Brother Pitney in the building always, man. Educated Tyrone, Scam Likely, man. Appreciate y'all checking the brother out. Rocking with your old Uncle Saint. We'll be back Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, bro. And we're going to be talking about how to handle rejection from women. That's what we're going to be talking about on Monday, guys. And Brother Educated Tyrone is like, man, looking forward to that show. And that's the show he's talking about the police officers. I think it was New Jersey. The police officers in the suburbs of New Jersey that was threatening to shoot this man in the face, bro. And it turns out they had the wrong vehicle. Again, poor training. And, these cops think they're tough. These cops go out here, think they're super guys, and they're not. They're not, man. They need better training, bro. So, thank God for body cameras. Because if it weren't for body cameras, bro, who knows how this story would have turned out, bro. Imagine that. If there were no body cameras, those cops could have said this guy resisted during the process of him resisting. He shot himself with his own weapon. They could have lied on him, and he would have to go to prison. You got 3 cops saying one way and you're saying another way, bro. He probably would have went to prison. But they got they got the body footage. So just imagine how much BS the cops were getting away with until body cameras, bro. It is what it is, man. Something to think about. Thank goodness for body cameras. You're dealing with a police officer that doesn't have a body camera on, bro. You got a problem. You got a problem. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys tonight, man. Appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all Monday for sure. And Tyrone, man, we'll definitely do that show sooner than later. I'll do that show about the cops that were threatening to shoot the dude in the face. I'll do that sooner than later. So I'll make sure I do a good thumbnail and all that, bro. So appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know what it is. I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.